Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra. Go ahead and just close your eyes. So last night I kind of set the intention that I would like my yoga theme to come to me in my dreams, and didn't sleep very well last night. Had a lot of bad dreams, but somehow in the middle of those, when I was in a place of half awake and half asleep, this yoga theme came, and it's centered on the word peace, probably because I feel like we really could use an influx of peace at this time in the world's life. But what came to me more was taking the word peace and making it into an acronym. And so that's kind of what we're going to go through with our sequence, what I felt the letters should stand for. And by the grace of the universe, I woke up remembering all this and quickly wrote it down before anything left my head. So as you sit here with your eyes closed, I would like you to invite peace in. Anything that we want to move into us, we have to be open to receiving it. And I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of times we're closed off. And so, if you're feeling stressed out or anything along those lines, are you actually feeling like you are receptive to that moving out? Because, sometimes we hang on to stuff because it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose. What could that purpose possibly be? Well, sometimes it's because we need to learn from it. Sometimes it's because somebody's going to cross our path in the near future that needs us to help them through it. So we're a teacher of sorts. Sometimes it's because, of maybe the attention that it helps us get, and we just kind of need that right now. So that's okay. I just want you to see it for what it is. Now take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to the heart. And as you set your positively worded intention for this practice, I want you to add on that you are open to receiving peace. Now when you're ready, simply release the hands. And still keeping the eyes closed, I want you to scan through the body. So at least for the next couple of moments, I know you're completely present to what is going on in your world. And being present is the first letter of peace. So P stands for presence. And of course, we talk about this a lot. It's a main yoga theme to stay present, right? But the biggest reason for that is because all the other external stuff can't get to you when you're in the present. You can't be worried if you're in the present. Present is what it is as it unfolds, right? Worry is somewhere off in the future. And, if we're basking in fear or something else, that's kind of based in, fear is kind of based in both past and present. Guilt, of course, is in the past. So ideally, we stay as present as we can. Now, we're all human, so we don't tend to stay there. But if you can remind yourself to constantly come back, and I don't know, maybe you get a rubber band and you just snap it on your wrist every once in a while to bring you back, or remember to focus on your breath. Maybe you set an alarm on your phone every 15 minutes, every half hour, just to remind yourself, see where you actually were, and allow yourself to come back to center. All right, let's start out with a side bend. So hands to the earth. I want you to walk the fingers away from you as far as they can go. Glue the right fingertips down. Inhale that left arm up, and then let's take that side bend to the right. So you're being present to where you feel the stretch, what your body needs from you this morning. And then let's come back through center, release the left fingertips down to the earth. And when they're as far away from you as they can get, glue them there. Inhale the right arm up and take that side bend to the left. Noticing everything. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale the right hand down. Both arms up on the next intake of breath. Take your gaze up toward the hands. And then exhale the hands to the heart. And so from here, I'm going to switch back just a little bit. I want to come into a fold. And you know, of course, a fold is whatever that means to your body at this given moment. So in a fold, you have to be present. We're paying attention to the low back. We're paying attention to, maybe it's the hips you feel this in. Only you know. And so just staying with which parts of the body are signaling you. Wherever you're at, just closing your eyes. Louise Hay wrote, "The point of power is always in the present moment." Right? Think about that. The point of your power is always in the present moment. What does that mean? Well, we don't have any power to change the past. We can do things differently. We can learn from the past, but we can't go back and change it. And we don't have the power to alter the future. What we're doing in the present is creating the path to our future, right? So we have choices in the present, but we can't do anything to alter past and future. We can only have power to change, evolve, manifest in the present. And so it's important to stay here. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Gently push your way back up. I'm going to turn sideways. I don't know about you, my legs need to stretch this morning. So send that right leg out in front of you. We'll keep the left foot tucked in for Janu Shashasan. A one-legged fold is just so much more compassionate and happy than a two-legged. So we'll start here. Inhale, take both arms up. Pause here to lengthen. Drop the shoulders and then hinge from the hips, coming on down into your fold. Close your eyes. Feel everything. You might not want to, but tap into it. And just letting the weight of the upper body sink down a little bit. You know, with all these different Zoom meetings you can join now, I was in an interesting lecture on the Bhagavad Gita, and part of that broke down into karma. Karma is very much, believe it or not, a present moment concern. Well, why do I say that? Because isn't karma about what you've accumulated? Yes, it is. So karma is not about a higher power coming down to punish you. It has nothing to do with that. In fact, karma is all about the choices you've made. So you have complete control over your karma. And an interesting thing that came up in that discussion was that what you are living through in this lifetime is karma from previous lives. So whatever you're doing in this lifetime, that karma isn't going to show up until next life, couple lifetimes down. So super interesting concept to me that everything happening to you in this lifetime is a consequence of your choices in a past life. Ultimately, of course, the yoga goal is to not have karma, right? You can have good karma, you can have bad karma. We want to balance that out. And when we get to that place of complete balance, there's no point to reincarnating. There's no point to coming back to Earth, because you've balanced your karma. You've figured out the life lessons. So every choice you make, thought, action, spoken words, that guides where your karma is headed in the very far off future. To think about that, you have to be in the present, right? So everything you're doing in the present moment creates good or bad karma that you're going to have to settle with in a future life. I don't know. My mind kind of likes to dwell on that topic because perhaps that changes what you say. Perhaps it makes you stop and think and, go, you know what? If I put it out that way to somebody, it's not going to be looked or received well, and maybe that's accumulating bad karma, and we don't want that, right? Can you subtract bad karma? Yes, you can. You can do things now that affect that balance. And that's a kind of cool concept as well, right? But it's all based on our choices. We have 100% control. So it can't be a punishment because it's based on something you've already done. But we can improve. We're here to keep learning. And in that learning process, we create good karma. All right, go ahead. Come on up. Ooh, let's take that twist to the left for a moment. Make sure that right foot is flexed. And then we're coming back to center. Switch out the legs. When you're ready, inhale the arms up. Pause to lengthen, soften the shoulders, and then hinge forward into your fold. So I'll be quiet. I know you're shocked. I'll be quiet while you're stretching out this side of the body, but I need you to stay focused on the physical body. That'll keep you in the present. So notice everything. I mean, not just, I said I'd be quiet, not just what's being stretched, but the feel of your yoga mat under your hands or your hair falling over your shoulders, whatever it is, stay focused. And then let's go ahead and make our way up. Take the twist to the right. Keep the left foot flexed. And then come back to center. Now that we've stretched out each leg individually, let's try both of them. Paschimottanasana. So flexing the feet, decide if you need a bend in the knees or if you want a blanket or a prop under your legs. Inhale, both arms up. Again, I want you to pause to lengthen and bring the shoulder blades down. And then slowly hinge forward. So let's let the hands come down to the ground of the legs first so that this fold isn't out in limbo. I want you supported. Work your way into it. When you're ready, come on up. Take your hands behind you, lean back, point the toes, and just open up the heart space for a moment, as well as the throat chakra. Breathing in peace. Exhaling whatever does not fall under that definition. And then you're going to just let the spine round out so you can roll all the way back down onto your mat. We're going to hug the right knee in. And then keeping the right hand on the right knee, you can let the left arm go wherever it wants. We're just going to guide the right knee into circles so we open up the hip. Switch directions. And then let's go ahead and stretch that right leg up to the ceiling. Focus on pulling the low back down in the back of the left thigh. We're lengthening out the breath here. And then if you haven't already, let's interlace both fingers behind the right leg. If you're using your strap, that's totally fine. Just stay right there. And then I'm going to lift my head and my shoulders up. As you do so, maybe you can walk the hands up the leg a little bit. So maybe they're behind the calf. If you're using the strap, just pull on the strap a little bit to draw the leg in closer. But we're just trying to see if we can lessen the distance perhaps between our forehead and the leg. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but energetically it could happen, right? This feeling of drawing the leg in and lifting the upper body. Inhale. Exhale, roll your way back down as you bend that right knee and hug it back in. And then we're going to take our supine twist to the left. So, of course, your options are always open the arms out wide if you don't have room, scarecrow. You can interlace the hands behind the head. You could keep the left hand on the right knee to guide that leg over and help stretch it out. You could keep the right arm down alongside you. So you choose. As always, trying to keep both shoulders down on the ground. But find your happy place. Close your eyes. So breathing into the present moment that you have power right now. Whatever changes you would like to elicit on the mat, you have the power in your hands in this present moment. So if it's, to stretch out some tightness, guess what? That's what you're doing. Just stay focused on it. Stay present to that. If it's, maybe you're on your mat for no physical reason whatsoever, it's to gain mental peace, then stay focused on that. Try not to let thoughts pop in and take you or draw you away from that peace that you need. So only you know why you're on the mat this morning. It could be a combination of both and a whole nother list of other things. That's all good too. Strong inhale, hold the breath. Big exhale. And then just gently roll back to center as you straighten out the right leg. We're not even going to hug it back in. We're just going to unfold and lengthen here. Noticing everything. Noticing sensations, following where the head is, mental thoughts that are popping in and moving out. Maybe you're in a quiet space. That's fabulous. And then when you're ready, go ahead and hug the left knee in. Okay, so acronym for peace. We talked about being present, and being present is going to play into the other words. What I came up with for E is educate yourself. So there is so much going on in the, I don't even want to say universe because this is more man-made, in our external world. We've got health issues, we have foundational human right concerns. There is so much stuff, and it seems like it's escalating and new things keep adding on. And it's important to not just stand by and watch, but to get educated so we can invoke change, right? But change, while it's going to be in the future, has to start in the present. And educating yourself on certain things has to be in the present. We can educate ourselves on history, but the education and the learning takes place right now, in the present. Left hand on the left knee, start those hip circles. Why are we doing hip circles? Because in the last class, I promised you pigeon and then forgot about it. So I'm going to attempt to keep pigeon in the forefront of my mind. I know you're all cheering about that. I can hear you. Switch directions. And then send that leg on up to the sky. Both feet are flexed. Toes are spread wide. Start to lengthen out the breath if we kind of lost it along the way. And then again, both hands behind the left thigh, or you're using your strap. And then hang on to that leg as you lift the head and shoulders up. We might be able to start walking the hands up a little bit behind the leg, not behind the knee, either above it or below it. And then seeing if we can pull ourselves up a little more as we draw that leg in. Don't let the right leg come up with you, right? Try to keep pushing the back of the right leg down. Good job. One more breath here. On your exhale, release the upper body as you bend the left leg. Hug that knee back in. And then whatever you want that supine twist to look like to this side, go ahead and find it when you're ready. Close your eyes when you're settled in. Make sure that left shoulder's down. And again, breathing in, surrounding yourself with peace. Deciding, if you're open to that. If you feel like I'm saying breathe in peace and you're kind of feeling like I can't, that's okay. Acknowledge that, right? Maybe this morning is not the time that you feel receptive to that. We have to go through an expression of our emotions, so we can't be in peace 100% of the time. That would not be, it just doesn't work with being human. It doesn't work with learning life lessons. If we weren't here to learn, why would we be here? Why would we keep choosing to come back? So whatever you're going through, that's fine. Ultimately, I'm hoping that you can open up to peace. Letting go. And when you're ready to come out of this twist, just straighten out the left leg and roll more into Shavasana here. Reset the alignment of the shoulders and the hips. Close your eyes. Strong inhale, hold the breath. Cleansing exhale. And then let's go ahead and plant the feet on the mat, hip distance apart. Do some wiggling. Set your alignment for bridge, will you? So that you feel the hips lifting upwards as you pull the low back down. Shoulder blades have released down towards the feet. They're not up toward the ears, right? So do a little wiggling here. Maybe the fingertips can graze the backs of the heels. If they can't, don't worry about it. But this gives you an ideal position to lift off with. It's less work than having your feet farther out in front of you. And so all I want you to do here is tip into the left hip. I'm just rolling into the left hip. I've lifted the right hip up off the mat. And then set the right hip back down, tip into the right hip, let the left hip rise. There's no work here, we're just rolling. Come back to center. Roll into the left hip again. You can let the knees drop down farther this time if you want to, if that's not too much on the back, or even, I feel this in the right knee, so you decide. Come back through center. Roll into the right hip, lift the left. And then back to center again. So don't roll as far. All I want you to do is lift the right hip. You know what? Let's start with the left hip because then you can see better. Just lift the left hip physically up off the ground. So I didn't roll into the right hip. I just lifted the left hip. Got it? Perfect. Now lift the right hip. We're only a couple inches off the ground, right? Set the left hip down. Set the right hip down. Lift the right hip. Then the left. Set the right hip down. Then the left hip down. Lift the left hip. Now this time, as you bring the right hip up, let's come all the way up into bridge. Slowly set the left hip down, and then the right. Lift the right hip. Lift the left hip, come all the way up into bridge. Right hip down, then the left. Now, can we add the breath here? And then I want to set you free because I don't want you having to follow my guide or my cues. I want you to follow your breath. So it's an inhale, lift the left hip. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, left hip down. Exhale, right hip down. Keep going. If you lose track of the breath, it's just changing the inhale and exhale with each movement. So do that one more time on each side. And take your time, finish where you're at, but when you're done, hug your knees into your heart, and I'm going to wait for you right here. And then go ahead and rock it out side to side. And then tip yourself all the way over so you can gently push your way back up. And just find a seated pose and close your eyes for a moment. Aristotle wrote, "Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all." Inhale the arms up. Exhale back to the heart. And then go ahead and stretch both legs out in front of you again. I'm going to turn sideways. Flexing the feet, gently pushing the backs of the legs down. Inhale the arms up. I know you're thinking, oh no, not another fold. But the reason why is because the A in peace is going to be for acceptance. So lengthen, soften the shoulders, and then start to come down into that fold. So remember, hands down first. And let's just say right here is as far as you're getting. I need you to accept that. Just be okay with it. Let everything else go. Hanging on to criticism and judgment and allowing the ego on the mat is not going to help you in any moment, past, present, or future. So just let that stuff go. It doesn't matter. And this is great. We're on video. Nobody can see where your fold is. I can't see it. So you're the only one judging yourself. I need you to let it go and accept wherever your fold has ended up. Now breathe into that. Invite in peace. I want you to feel relief by that. Yes, you're right. I don't have to be concerned with how low I get. It doesn't matter. I told somebody the other day, I don't teach poses. I teach ideas and themes. And she said, what do you mean you don't teach poses in yoga? Then what do you do? And, you know, what I mean by that is, yes, I'm guiding you through poses and I'm trying to give you cues that keep you safe, especially since I can't see you. But the pose is not the goal of yoga. It's just not. It's being able to allow the mind to find a quiet space, which it can't do unless you move the body a little bit. And ultimately, it's to find that balance in karma, enlightenment, right? So don't get caught up in the poses. Do them with me because we want to stretch out the body. Of course we do. And we want to keep the body safe and flexible and all those good things, but they aren't the ultimate goal. Go ahead and make your way back up. Let's flip on over into table, shall we? So acceptance. Let me share this quote with you that I pulled up. It's by Eckhart Tolle. Accept and then act. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. I like that. We got to come back to that. Always work with it, not against it. This will miraculously transform your whole life. Accept your present moment as if you chose it. Now, that takes me into a whole other tangent that I'm not sure we're ready for because it's just too much thought this morning, I think, but I might head there. Find your cat cow. All right, I'm going to say this and just hear me out. I think we have chosen our present moment. No matter what we're going through, our soul knows our life lessons we need to learn and chooses those before we come here. And then if you start thinking about what I said about karma, all of our choices accumulate into some type of consequence. They have to. And whether those consequences are good, which we hope for, or whether they're bad, we have, in a way, we've chosen them. So taking ownership of where we are and using the present moment, remember Louise Hay said, your power in the present moment, use the present to implement the change you want to manifest. It's all up to you. All right, manifesting change right now by getting the spine and low back to be a little more accommodating and flexible. When you're ready, come back to a static pose, tuck the toes, downward facing dog, and walk it out. So anyway, we all have the power of opinion, right? So what I'm saying is my opinion, and opinion's not based in truth. I'm careful to let you know that as well. So if you don't believe what I just said, think about that part of the quote that accept your present as if you chose it. So you don't have to agree with me that you chose it, but accept it as if you did, right? Doesn't that change things a little bit? Go ahead, come forward into plank. Set the knees down, untuck the toes, mini chaturanga. And then let's roll the shoulders back and let them lift us into cobra, wherever that is for you in this given moment. Stay here, breathe. Doesn't mean you can't move, right? If you want to drop the head and pull the shoulders back, you can. You could turn the head to look over both shoulders. You could add some movement in your cobra. And then find an exhale to release down upon. And let's find gecko, left side of the body. And just letting go right here, accepting the pose as it is. This is a pretty easy pose to accept, I think, right? It's the most fabulous hip opener. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote, "For after all, the best thing one can do when it's raining is to let it rain." How great is that quote? We only have control over ourselves. We can't control the rain. If we're upset that it's raining, you getting upset by that is just creating your own suffering. So the best thing you can do in that moment is to combine those two quotes and assume you chose it to rain and just let it be. It just is what it is, right? Work on the things you can change. The education part, we can keep learning, we can keep understanding, we can keep working on staying in the present moment where our power is. So the C in peace, what I came up with, I shouldn't say I came up with it, it came to me in my dream, was call to action. So this period of time, this period of history we're living in is going to require a call to action. It just is. There is too much is being, what do I want to say, brought up. It's kind of like, when you get a massage and they tell you to drink a lot of water because the massage brings out the toxins. For us to find equanimity and balance and peace, we have to educate ourselves on what is occurring, where have we strayed, How can we improve? We accept where we are right now and decide how you want to act and move forward. And I say decide how you want to act and move forward because there are so many issues. I don't think we can, each of us individually, give 100% of our energy to all of them. That's a lot of education too. Pick something that is calling to you and dive in. You know, I sat in on a lecture this week with a organization called True Colors United, and it's about helping the homeless, LGBTQ youth. And then at the end of it, was just so excited to find out it's like run by Cyndi Lauper, who's one of my favorites. And I didn't know that. I should have connected True Colors, but I didn't. So that was surprising and exciting to me. But it's just delving into something I haven't delved into before. And, you know, took their little 1-hour training course, which I guess in the long run, it just opens my eyes to some things I didn't know or perspective I didn't have before. So whatever you want to jump into, do it. We need everybody right now, and I just feel like our positive vibration it's going to help implement the change, especially when there are so many people who are stagnant and are not willing to change and are seething in fear and anger and hatred. We somehow have to work around that. So jump into something, get excited about it. Go ahead and switch Gecko to the other side while I share this quote with you. Vashti Quiroz Vega said, "Don't turn your face away. Once you've seen, you can act like you don't know, but open your eyes to the truth around you. Don't deny what the eyes have revealed to you. Now that you know, you cannot accept ignorance. And now that you're aware of it, you can't pretend you don't know. To be concerned is to act and care." Sorry, I messed up her quote a little bit. I cut it off. So you get the essence that now that we've seen all this stuff come up, we can't turn our eyes. We can't pretend it's not there. It has risen for a reason. We are in this place for a reason. There's something brewing that's going to lead to positivity. We have to accept it. We have to educate. We have to invite in peace. We have to share our peace. And we have to act. So about action, Monty Roberts wrote, "If you act like you've only got 15 minutes, it's going to take all day. If you act like you have all day, it's only going to take 15 minutes. I like that. So it doesn't have to mean you are diving into something and spending all of your time there. Little things are going to plant seeds. So don't feel overwhelmed, because it's all overwhelming. Breathe it in, accept it, accept the feeling of being overwhelmed, but start doing little things. It all helps. All right, so straighten out the right side of the body. I promised you a pigeon pose. I'm not gonna hold you back twice. So when you're ready, will you push your way up into table? And then let's tuck the toes. Take it to dog. Walk it out. All right, when you're ready, let's get that left knee forward behind the left wrist. Settling into pigeon. So settle that left shin and foot where you need it to be. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going across the mat. And then take the back leg, tuck the toes so you can lift that leg up and settle back. So set the alignment first before you do anything else. Make sure the right knee is down on the mat, that you're not tipped so that knee is facing outward. The ankle's in a straight line. Your hips are balanced, the most important aspect of this pose. If they're not, pull that foot in closer to the hip, slide a sweatshirt or anything you've got near you underneath the left hip to hold you up. And then you decide, do you want to stay right here? Do you want to come down into a fold? Do you not want to be here at all? And if that's the case, and I'm going to tell you honestly, my left hip is not happy right now about this pose, so I would choose to take this pose on my back this morning. So Pigeon pose looks like this on your back. It would be the left ankle on the right thigh and then lifting that right foot away. So choosing what's right for you. I have to accept that my hip doesn't want to be in the full pose this morning and be okay with that. Just is what it is. Doesn't matter. It's the same stretch. All right, so we've gotten through P for present, E for educate, A for accept, C for call to action. And then the last E, what came to me in my dreams last night was engage other perspectives. I think this is one of the bones of contention that people are running up against physically and energetically, is that we just don't want to listen or accept or hear somebody else's perspective, because then it might mean we are wrong. Guess what? We all can be wrong. We're not all right in every capacity. So to hear somebody else's perspective and really think about it and own it is only going to help this peaceful vibration, this movement, and this change. Chris Pine wrote, "The only thing you sometimes have control over is your perspective. You don't have control over your situation, but you have a choice about how you view it." So if we go back to thinking about that quote about the rain, right? Let's say it's pouring right now and it's making you extremely unhappy and moody and depressed. We can't change the rain, so we accept it. We can change our perspective. So instead of allowing the rain to be saddening, we can realize that it's nurturing, it's nourishing to everything outside, that it's cleansing, and let that cleansing feeling move over and through you. So choosing your perspective, right? All right, hang on to pigeon, one more breath. If you're laying on your back, just let that left foot, we'll let both feet come back to the mat. If you are in a traditional pigeon, let's come out of the fold. You can tip out of this if you want to and get the legs in front of you for a moment, but then we need to work our way back into table so we can set this up on the other side. So when you're ready, take it to dog. And then when you are ready, right knee forward, set up your alignment for pigeon. So for me, I'm gonna go on my back again. This hip is also not happy with me, so just is what it is, right? It's the aging body. I have to accept that. We all do. So find your pigeon, close your eyes. And I have one more quote to share with you. Meister Eckhart, "Be willing to be a beginner every single morning." See, I think that quote would be great, like taped to your nightstand or your glasses or your phone, right? To remind you when you wake up. Have a beginner's mind. Have a childlike mind. Everything new, being open to everything, letting go of what happened yesterday, because that's in the past again, we can't change it already. Allowing that to keep us in the present. You know, kind of wish we were in a live class. I could hear your thoughts on all this, but you can always text or email me. I think this is a happy starting point. So finding peace, presence, educate, acceptance, call to action, and engage other perspectives. And in fact, in pigeon pose, if you flopped over onto your back, that is a whole nother perspective in a pose. So we can apply all this to the yoga mat too, which is what I love about theming. It applies to your practice and it is supposed to go with you off the mat. See, now you can see why I didn't sleep well last night. There was too much going on in my head. All right, a few more breaths here. Honestly, I can accept having a bad night of sleep, because that just means there's going to be a nap in my future, and I love naps. So it all works out. All right. Go ahead and release pigeon. So if you're on your back, again, will you set both feet down? If you are in traditional pigeon, will you come up out of your fold, tip into the right hip, bring the left leg around, and then we can join everybody else who's already on their back. Right here, we're going to hug the knees into the heart and rock it out. Perfect. Okay, set the legs down. I want you to grab some props. Yeah, we're kind of bordering on Shavasana, a few minutes maybe, but I thought we'd set it up and then we could invoke a vision of peace. I'll take you through a little guided meditation. So grab whatever props are going to make you exceptionally happy right now. Set up your space. And then the most important part, of course, is to just consciously allow the eyes to grow heavy. Tuning out the visual world for a few moments. We're going to create a visual world behind our closed eyes. If you don't think you're very good at visualization, we're going to accept that and just let whatever happens happen. Don't get agitated about it. I don't want to invoke anxiety about it. It just is what it is, and that's okay. We're all different. So if, visualizing makes you anxious, don't do it. Just listen to my words, right? Just be it. We're all going to have a different experience. And frankly, you're going to have the experience you're meant to have. So, slow, deep inhale. Fill the lungs completely. Hold the breath. Loud exhale. Again, inhale, fill the lungs. Hold it. Loud exhale. One more. You hold the breath as long as you want to. After your exhale, just let the breath be. And then being completely present to the physical body here for a moment, will you make sure every part of the body is happy? If you need to make some changes, go ahead. You might move props around. Take a moment to relax the forehead. Relax the eyes, cheeks, and the jaw. Feel the back of the neck softening. And then the rest of the body following suit, letting go, being at peace. I want you to imagine that the mat you're lying on, and if you're not on a mat, whatever's underneath you, is gently beginning to warm up, kind of like a heating pad. Maybe we plugged it in, we started it off on low, it's just slowly gathering heat. This might take time to visualize and feel and imagine, so that's okay. And then let's say we turn that up to medium, so we start to feel a little bit more warmth underneath us, allowing the body to be receptive and opening to drawing that heat in, as though the heat were there to massage out the muscles, release tension. And my intention with this visualization of warmth is for you to soften and let go. the beauty in you guiding your own visualization is that I don't want you to take it to a point where you feel too hot. It's always to the point of this feels perfect, which is different for all of us. Feel the body relaxing, going deeper and deeper into a place of stillness. And then taking the focus to the heart center. And imagining that the heart center expands. It expands and opens because it is receptive. It is receptive to inviting in peace. It is receptive to change. It is receptive to engaging with other people's opinions, perceptions, experiences. We can all have the same situation laid out before us, and we can have and walk away with different interpretations and impressions. And why is that? It's because who we are is made up of our experiences. It is the direct result of our environment, of what we've been taught. So feeling the heart center opening to inviting in a whole new world. Now I'm sounding like a Disney movie. But truly, if we stay within the confines of our beliefs without expanding, without learning, without reaching out, without opening up the heart, we are stuck. We are stagnant and we cannot move forward. But feeling that heart space opening as though it were reaching out to not just the people around you in your room, or not just in your house, not just in your community, but beyond that. There's so much we can learn. Why do we travel? Why do we go to different countries? It's to experience something completely different. And so why does different in our world, our space, feel like it shuts us off? So opening up to inviting in peace and being okay with peace. Opening up to acceptance, accepting our situation as it is right now. We have built it, we have created it. I mean humans as a race, not we, don't take it personally. Accepting where we are so we can move forward. Educating ourselves on what we don't know. That's a crazy thought. How do we know what we don't know? Trust me, there's a lot. So find something that would pique your interest and get involved. And it can be small. I think half a year ago I joined, oh my gosh, I'm going to say it wrong, but it's that movement of mothers who offer free hugs, right? For LGBTQ kids who maybe aren't being shown that at home. And frankly, I haven't been called to do anything. We can't go out and have parades and offer free hugs. So it was more of an energetic and symbolic, I didn't know at the time, but a symbolic action on my part. And I look forward to sharing hugs in the future. But I want you to understand it can be little. So breathe into that and be open to finding something that you can act upon. Like I said, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. And then engaging with other perspectives. That one might feel like the heaviest if we're locked down in our own views, or we're pretty darn convinced somebody else is wrong, and they might be, but the only way that we can change perspective is to educate and not present things in a way that allows someone to go into a defense mechanism. So to say things kindly and just from your point of view. And I think that's where we start. So feel your body and your heart and your etheric body and your subtle body, your mental body, all being receptive to this, that you are the instigator of change. You are the instigator of hope and peace. And each one of us that can interpret that in our own way and invite that in is going to make a difference. Taking another deep breath. As you exhale, let go. Soften into this beautiful energy of peace. Whatever that feels like to you, whatever it looks like to you. And that is where I want to leave you in Shavasana, in whatever you consider to be the utmost in peace. I'll come back and get you. As you deepen your breath, will you invite more peace in and encourage it to stay with you for the rest of the day, so that whatever rises just brings you to recognizing it's in the present moment, and we're going to accept it as it is and stay in this peaceful space. Invite some movement back into the hands and the feet. Stretch out any part of the body that wants to move. And when you're ready, just go ahead and roll to a side in a fetal position. And then when you're ready, go ahead and make your way up into any seated pose you prefer. All right, deep inhale through the nose. Super loud exhale. And then float the arms up above you. Pause to bring the palms together. And then exhale the hands back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.